in the press where we were making books, textbooks.
So when you got out of the CCs, you went back into Norwood, and you started working in these large companies where Bird and these other guys had come in.
See, there was jobs aplenty.
And they were kicking it back in the 30s.
The factories were pretty well set.
Dad, you know now, today, you go over to Walpole where Bird Mansion used to be. Yeah. It's all homes. They tore it down. It was burnt down years ago. It's all homes now. Yeah. They still have some remnants of the old factory in there.
All those factories are gone. Bird and Son is gone. The Norwood Press is gone. The ink mill is gone.
But the tannery, I didn't even know there was a tannery in Norwood.
Winslow Brothers and Smith. They made wool.
Wow.
From the things, yeah.
So you're working at the tannery. You're starting to make leather jackets for the people who fly, and they do their thing, and they're flying around. And then you all of a sudden, what? Did you all of a sudden say, you looked at one of these jackets and said, I would look really good in one of these jackets. I'm going into the military. How did it work?
Yeah. Well, we didn't do the finished product. We did the skins. Then they shipped them somewhere else where they made the flight jackets.
Right. Okay. But you're working in this place. What made you decide to go into the military? Now they had the draft back then. Were you drafted or what?
No. Joe was the first. My brother Joe was the first one. He was just 2 years older than I, and but he went in the service, and he went in the Navy, and I sort of took my brother Joe as my example. I wanted to be like him, so I joined the Navy. And
you joined the Navy?
Yeah. After that, yeah.
So you went into the Navy, and then what department in the Navy did you get into? Like, were you on a submarine? Were you?
No, I was in the Naval Air Corps as an aviation machinist.
So you were fixing airplanes?
Yeah, right. Went to Newport, Rhode Island for my training, and over that to Quonset Point. We were the first ones to put up the Quonset huts that you see all over the place. We would sleep in those, and all our gear and stuff would be in Quonset huts because we had to put things up fast.
Right.
So it was quite an experience.
I'm sure it was.
In that department.
Now I have to ask you something. You told me a story one time that during the training of the airplanes. Now back then they didn't have jets in World War II. They had the propellers, like Black Sheep Squadron, baby, huh? That's old school. They got the bullets coming out the side of the wings.
Yeah, we would have cartridge starters to start the thing. You have to start it with a shotgun start.
Really?
That's how they started the aircraft. Then they got the inertia starters, the electric started. So it was just pressing a button. And as things went rapidly. Changes were coming left and right because the war brought that on.
Right, but there was one story I remember you telling me during the training that these guys, you were on an aircraft carrier, and these guys would come down and they would circle around and they would with their tires just kind of touch the aircraft carrier and take off. And one guy had asked you if you had done something specifically on his airplane, and you said yes. And he said, "Okay, I want you to fly with me then. And we're going to see if you did it right," because I don't think he believed you.
I didn't check the tires. There was a bald spot on it.
A bald spot on a tire.
Yeah.
And you said you did it.
When they had bounce drills, they would come in at the airfield, say in Quonset Point.
Let me see if I can fix this lighting.
There were practices for flight deck landings, and you would come in and you'd land on the runway. And then bounce right up, and go on up and circle around and come back and do it again.
So if there's a bald spot on a tire, if they do it and it blows...
That's what the pilot said to me. He says, "You're going to go up with me," and it was at night. He said, "When we come in and we hit that thing," he said, "if this tire goes," he said, "you're going to go." He says, "You'll learn to check the tires." And really it wasn't my fault, but that's another story.
Oh, passing the buck now.
No,
all right.
One of the other plane captains had to go to the bathroom. He told me to watch his plane while he went, but he was just goofing off. And just at that time, the pilots were coming out to, the second group would come out to practice.
Guys goofing off.
And I just took it was all right. So
anything, oh man, that's
so I got caught in that, but that was all right. But those things happen.
Oh, I got to fix the lighting. Yeah, it's changing now because of the sun's going down. Okay, that'll work better. We just won't have it'll die a little bit more now. But anyways, well, so that seems like a pretty crazy, scary time. So the war's over. Did you ever get a chance to shoot any guns or anything?
No,
No.
no. We're strictly taking care of aircraft.
Did you kill anybody?
No,
No Germans?
no,
Heil! You didn't take any of them out?
no.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay, so you so you get out. You're doing well. What did you do when you got out of the military in World War II?
Well, there again, there was still practice that the last job you had before you went into service, they by law had to give you that job back.
So you went back to the tannery.
No, I went back to
Printing.
the printing.
The printing.
The printing industry.
Okay, yeah.
And I wanted to get my apprenticeship on that end.
So you could be a printer.
Yeah, learning how to put newspapers and pages together, and taking the metal. They print out the whole story line by line, but then they had the monotype, then they had the linotype, and now today we got so things happen so rapidly because of they say necessity is the mother of invention. Those things were necessary. So in America, you had all these different types of people, and they all had diverse trades. And boy, oh boy, did we have to learn. And God was good. It was a great thing. While I was in the CCCs, most of the kids learned how to help build dams, build roads. They learned mechanics. We learned all kinds of trade. I mean, everybody was hungry for knowledge.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Great time.
So,
great time to grow up.
So the military ends, and you go back to printing, and then what happens? You're in printing for how long? I mean, was there a pivotal point here coming? Is there a crossroad at all coming up anytime soon after that?
Then one of my brothers, who was older, Sal, he was a barber. He wanted to be a barber. He got out.
Wow.
He wanted to be a barber, and he opened up a barber shop, but then he went into the dry cleaning business, and while he was trying to fix his car, the car slipped and fell on his head and killed him. So
really?
That left his wife and 2 children without a father, and one of my older brothers stepped in to help take over the dry cleaning business, and I followed in with him to assist.
So you started into the dry cleaning business because of a tragic accident that happened in your family. Mm-hmm. How old was Sal?
Oh God, he was a young man. I mean, I really don't know how.
But he was married with 2 kids.
Yeah.
Who's his wife?
Matter of fact, his daughter just died. They had the wake last Wednesday, Jane, and David, his other son, became a pilot for United Airlines, Donald Delta.
And okay.
But she went back to New Hampshire, I think it was, where she lived.
His wife.
Afterwards, yeah. But Mario stepped in to take up the business, and I went along with him to help to keep it up and until they got on their feet.
So you were pretty much one of the first people in the town of Walpole Nord to get into dry cleaning, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's back in 1950s now, right? Are we looking at that, or 40s?
Oh yeah, in the 40s, after the war.
After the war ended in 45,
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so not too long after that, you got into the dry cleaning business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're in the dry cleaning business, and did you start dry cleaning, or were you doing something else like selling tuxedos, maybe?
No,
I renting tuxedos.
No, I just went into the dry cleaning business, and just to pick up the business and learn the trade.
It must have been a fairly new business across the board. I mean, the machines and stuff that they had and that they use even now with the chemicals.
In those days, we used naphtha for cleaning, which was later on, you couldn't use it because it was too explosive, flammable. And so then the industry began to grow, and they started new machinery come out, and we started to use different chemicals, and chemical company. America had grown tremendously.
It's a golden age.
Yes, right.
I mean, within the past 50 years alone, look at the technology, the explosion that we've had in this country.
Things began to rapidly change.